Here in your living room, and I'm thanking you first and foremost for allowing me, us, we to be in your living room to talk about some great things happening in Wilmington, Delaware, and the surrounding areas. Education is key. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but education is key. And we have on the show this evening Ms. Finney, Mr. Finney, and a group of students from the Newcastle County area to talk about math, how we can teach math and actually allow the kids really to learn it. I feel that learning is biological change in behavior. And when I say biological, I'm talking about the mental and I'm talking about the physical. And when we get something that here logical that we learn, we change in our behavior. You agree? So what I think is that sometimes when we are in classrooms in the 90-minute class, sometimes we're learning math and it's difficult if we just following Common Core. So I think that you're thinking outside of the box in a way in which you promote mathematics. That's definitely important in our community, math and reading.
Yes.
And you can actually teach reading through math. But Ms. Finney, can you introduce yourself and your guests?
Yes.
In your own way.
My name is Miss Finney. I'm a math teacher. Also, want to also help put together Jathan TV Lyrical Math. My husband as well is here.
How you doing?
Mr. Finney.
Mr. Finney.
We have one of our lyrical mathematicians, Deanna. We have Kara, another lyrical mathematician, and Messiah.
Hello.
Yeah. So they were in our summer program at the Newcastle County Boys and Girls Club this past summer. And we had a group of girls that were in our program and they learned basic math skills through hip hop. The goal was for them to do something fun over the summer that will also prevent them from losing learning, which can happen over the summer period. A lot of students, they go back as far as what they have gained during the school year, so they call it a summer loss.
Sure.
So we wanted to make sure that we gave them something fun to do, but also something relevant so they could go back to school. And
a lot of times over the summer, this is what we call it, retention, recoup. So sometimes we do lose some of the lessons learned, but once we learn it and it's put there, we don't forget it or recall. So you say through rap?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's such a popular genre now.
Sure.
All across the world, hip hop is just going everywhere at this point.
Commercialized.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we figured, it was important for us to take something that many people enjoy and combine it with something like math that everyone needs to master.
Sure. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at your school. Are you involved in any clubs? Are you teaching math?
Well, no, but I'm doing really good in math.
Awesome.
I have like an A now in math so far, and I'm in course.
Awesome. And do me a favor, I'm sorry, state your name, so because you know, for me as I age, sometimes.
Oh, me?
Me
Yes.
too.
My
So,
name is
yes.
Deanna.
Deanna, and you.
My name is Kara.
Kara. And Kara, what grade are you in?
I'm in 6th grade.
You like math, or do you love it?
I love math.
Really? So tell me what you've learned from the hip hop incorporated into math.
I learned how to like multiply fractions and divide fractions.
Really? Good. And your name?
Nasaya.
Nasaya. Tell me about you. Yourself.
I'm in 6th grade and I love math. And I'm also involved in the student council in the school.
Good. It's awesome to be involved outside of academics, to definitely be involved, especially if you are thinking college. Because in this global economy, people are looking for a well-rounded person, especially for employment. Keep doing well. Can you give me a demonstration as to what you do? Just maybe. Who's the rap artist? You can rap.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hold
These
on,
are
hold-
all lyrical
I'm sorry.
mathematicians here.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Finney.
I'm an open book.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Wow.
I'm not the math head in the house. She is.
Is that right?
But when it comes to the design and creativity on how to glue it all together, that's where I come in at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So he had a big play. I mean, he put all this together, the CD.
Really?
As far as, you know, getting it
Absolutely.
packaged and what should go where, how it should look, and also putting together the book that we have for the curriculum. So
Can you
all
tell-
this that's laid out, he did that.
Well, she, you know, the missus had input naturally,
Is that
Right.
but I think I had final say.
Right. I don't know how to
I think I did.
do that at all. So
really?
yeah, we put our God-given talents together and
The book is really laid out simplistic. I mean, we broke it down to even having side annotation notes, so
Okay.
that a person doesn't even have to have a degree in education to implement this program effectively.
Wow.
yeah. So that's the teacher guidebook. We'll give more of a
Do you plan to
breakdown of that.
what do you do in the summer with this program?
So in the summer, we
Yeah.
so what we did
That's a
last
great
summer.
question.
We had this at Newcastle County, Newcastle Boys and Girls Club, where Ron Handy is the director. And at that club, we took a group of girls. We didn't just sit them down and teach like a traditional classroom, but they learned some math, some songs that, you know, taught math curriculum through hip hop music. We did this over and over again. They created music videos where it allowed them to, you know, share all their talents. Some of them can dance. Some of them just got some cool
Oh
moves.
yeah, in the beginning, before every session, Miss Finney would open up by telling everybody to get up, and they would do some type of line dance that had to do with lyrical math. So it was definitely kinesthetics involved.
Wow, I wish you were set up so we could actually
I know.
demonstrate.
We're gonna have to
Next
come
time.
back for that.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the wheel is spinning because of summer youth program,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and I'm thinking, you know, as a part of the summer youth program, if you're listening in City of Wilmington, teaching math. Come in one day and just do some math projects with some of the kids because, again, they need it because a lot of time they forget. And
What I wanted to share, if I could.
sure, that's fine.
Lyrical math, and my wife and I, we table this several conversations that last throughout the night after the kids go to bed, of course.
Right.
But we come to understand that lyrical math it's not just a teaching tool; it's an experience. Like when you look at what these lyrical mathematicians have been exposed to
Sure.
since joining our program, right? Last year they were in the program, they did music videos. And then this year they did the spring break tour. So they went different places. They actually left the state to go perform in other states in front of other people and teach them what they learned. It's an experience. It's not just a learning tool.
Wow, so you travel.
Right. Yeah.
We make math fun and engaging. Well, she does.
It's how you do as well, and I think that's awesome because a lot of times kids they get tired, they get bored.
I did
Math
growing
is
up.
boring to some people, you know.
Yeah.
And once you get the
absolutely.
basic foundation, you can take math and do anything you want to do with it. But it's a matter of getting the foundation. What ages do you start with as far as, do you start with pre-K or K, kindergarten, or
Good question.
Well, we have this program starting out with third graders.
Third grade.
So we have it for third graders up to eighth graders, but we found that anyone can use it. So I mean, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade adults, anyone that needs to brush up on basic math skills, they
Right.
can do that.
I'm curious to hear from some of our lyrical mathematicians about their experiences.
Yeah, tell
I
me.
mean,
a
I
little
would
bit.
love for one of y'all to open up and just share what you thought going in, and then what you realized it was once you were in. How was that? Who's first?
Me. I want to go first.
You already, she has a
She
mic.
has-
She's mic'd, okay.
Yeah.
She's mic'd up.
The experience was fun because when I first joined the program, like I didn't like math at all, and I didn't really like catch on as fast as like other people did in my
Sure.
class. But now it's like really easy and it's like quick too, so I get my work done faster and I know more than I did before.
Really?
The confidence booster is real.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Wow. I'm impressed. I really am. What about you?
Well, I always love math, and I just thought it was just gonna be like a math class.
So you're really good with your timetables? Let me see. I want to see.
You
ready?
You guys want to
I want to test you. Let's see. This is an assessment.
Absolutely.
You're going.
We're going to start off easy. 2 times 1.
2,
3 times 6.
Come on, louder, louder.
I can't hear you.
18,
There you go.
4 times 7. 7 times 4.
Come on.
7 times 4,
Yes.
28,
28.
4 times 7.
Come on.
28.
7 times 4.
28.
3 times 2.
6.
There you go. Come
2
on.
times 4.
8.
5 times 2.
10,
10.
2 times 5.
10.
She's Millie rocking.
10 divided
She's
by
Millie
2.
Rocking.
5.
Oh, they're good. Listen, I do that like with my small group.
Sure.
I go 5 plus 2. 3 times 6. 4 plus
Work
8.
that brain.
You know?
Yeah.
You're like,
Right. Good.
So when you
good.
make when it's fun in school, kids do well. And now I don't want to go into desegregation. I don't want to go. Nah, that's next segment. But but when kids are enjoying what they do in school, they excel. A lot of times kids aren't, especially in the community. A lot of kids there are not happy in school. So what are they doing? They're out in the street. They're not going to school. When you're in school and you like what you're doing, you don't have the time. And then you're actively involved in other activities at school.
Sure.
You know, so and I think that's awesome. You like science?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, math and science kind of go hand in hand. What about the
Yeah, they
STEM
do.
program? Are you involved in STEM or what is it? STEAM?
It's STEAM.
STEAM. They have STEAM now. What does STEAM stand for? What's the acronym? STEAM.
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Oh.
No,
At our
science,
school-
technology, I don't even know how to say it.
Engineering, that's
Engineering,
fine.
arts, and math.
Arts
At our
and
school
math.
is STEAM.
Are you involved with the arts at school?
Yes.
Get involved. I can see them right now. Right now, I just saw the vision.
Oh,
That you all are
oh,
downtown. What's
let's
the
hear it.
Grand Opera House?
Oh,
Doing a skit.
wow.
I just mentioned that. You are doing
Performance or a skit?
performance skit.
Okay.
Probably a
Let's
performance.
make it happen.
You know, right downtown and you're showing, teaching. Can you imagine how many kids will get involved?
Yeah. We need
We
that.
need
We
you.
need them to get into that.
We need you. So-
Because when we do the performances, Miss Finney has them break out in the math sessions.
Really?
And all the lyrical mathematicians that perform, they go down and help the kids with the math problems.
wow.
Yeah.
So-
Either they're passing out pencils, flashcards, or whatever have you. Yep.
How do people contact you if they're interested?
They can go
Our email is support at, where am I at? Right here? Am I right here? Support at lyricalmath.com. And the website is lyricalmath.com.
Lyricalmath.com.
Keep it simple. Yes.
And that's the way that people can reach out to you?
Absolutely.
Lyricalmath.com. Awesome. I'm impressed.
Yeah, we're looking to, just get this out even to more summer camp programs.
Sure.
We have
And more
a few-
tours.
Few lined up. Anyone that wants to be a part of like an assembly needs, school
Yeah.
type assemblies.
I would like to get information.
Pep rallies before state testing.
What? How many of you just finished the Smarter Balance?
Me.
How was that for you? How was the math portion of the Smarter Balance?
I think it was a little more easy for me.
It was
a little
easy?
more
Easier.
easier than the other ones.
Really?
But it was boring.
What
But it
about the
was still easy.
performance task?
That was way easy. That was too easy.
That was,
Yeah.
wow. So you all like to write as well, huh? A lot of kids today, they don't like to write. There are scholarships out there.
I
The
write.
kids will not write to get a scholarship. I mean, it's a lot of money out there for kids when they go to college. But and they ask them to write a little bio about themselves. They don't want to do it. So practice doesn't make you perfect. However, it does enhance perfection. And if you're able to perfect, like you're doing with the math, you know, over and over again. You know, Einstein said, what did Einstein say?
Drop that jewel.
You ready? Drop the Einstein. Einstein.
said a lot of
I was getting ready to say anything you do 7 times forms a habit, but that's not. That's my stuff. I forgot. I'm sorry. So we'll go to the next one.
That's all right.
But Einstein did say something
He said
Sure.
something important.
very.
We're
Wow.
talking about them.
If you do the same thing over and over again,
Oh,
expecting
insanity. That's
a
insanity.
different
Yeah.
outcome.
Yep.
But you all don't do that because you're sane. I thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you need to add prior
Thank you
to
for
going off
having
the show?
us.
No.
Are you thinking college yet? How many?
Me?
How many?
Yes.
Are you thinking about college?
Yes, I am.
Really? How about you?
A little bit, not
Have you heard of any colleges?
yeah.
What colleges have you heard about?
Like Wilmington University.
Did you say Norfolk State University?
No, Wilmington University.
Oh, Wilmington. I'm sorry. Good. Your parents are good. Where did you go to college?
Undergrad, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
UMES. All right, that's an HBCU.
And then,
My undergrad was at WIMU.
WIMU, that's an HBCU.
Yeah. And
It's from Wilmington, right?
I like how you got that in there.
You see?
I wasn't going to say no
I need to get a
him. It's his
Wilmington
show.
University banner. They just had their commencement. So that's a good school.
yeah.
Okay.
Great school. I did my graduate work at Arcadia. They're kind of similar.
Okay.
That's in Glenside, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's awesome. I do appreciate you. We would like to promote you even more. You're on the screen if you see.
Please. Oh, also, this woman right here, Miss Finney, she
Yes.
has been nominated
Really?
for the 2017 Women's Achievement Award in Philadelphia, KYW News Radio.
Really?
Yeah, and it was a complete shock.
Yeah.
Out of 100 women, she made it to the top 10.
Oh.
And then she got a call from a journalist who said at work saying, "Hey, you made it in the top 10. I need your bio. And I need your picture, your headshot."
Wow.
So please vote for her. Please,
Yes.
please vote for her.
Yeah, they're narrowing it down to.
We can win this. Wilmington, Delaware, we can win this.
Yeah, we're narrowing it down to the top 5. If you go on the website, you can vote up until May 21st.
Yes. Can
So
you
we
read
just got a few more days.
really one more time with your website so people in the
Sure.
community
The
can-
website is lyricalmath.com.
Lyrical-
LYRICALMATH.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Thank you so
I'm going
much.
to talk stuff because they need to talk about you in city council. They give awards to people in city council.
Okay.
You know, you're doing things in the community that need to be talked about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, this is a positive, and then you look like me. So, and you know, we get a lot of bad raps every now and again. So
And these girls are actually thriving. So
Awesome.
we need to highlight
I
that.
am proud. Yes,
Yes.
I am proud.
Let's bring more attention to positive things
That's right.
happening in the community because a lot of good things are happening.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I'm at this point going to go to a break, so please don't touch that dial, as Holloway would say.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Now I know this may be a challenge for some of you, but you got it. Just rock out to the beat and vibe with me. You got it. Let's fly. Rock with me. Yeah. 1 cup, 8 fluid ounce, 1 pint, 2 cups, 1 quart, 2 pints, 1 gallon, 4 quarts, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters. Let's flow. 1 cup, 8 fluid ounce, 1 pint, 2 cups, 1 quart, 2 pints, 1 gallon, 4 quarts, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters. Let's flow. 1 cup, 8 fluid ounce, 1 pint, 2 cups, 1 quart, 2 pints, 1 gallon, 4 quarts, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters. Let's flow. 1 cup, 8 fluid ounce, 1 pint, 2 cups, 1 quart, 2 pints, 1 gallon, 4 quarts, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters. Let's flow. Let's flow. What's flow? Let's flow.
Instruments.
Where were y'all at just now?
It was over by the boat. Yeah, and at the instrument. Like you could pick up. Oh, I almost fell.
That was Liddy.
Say that again. It's so lit. You need sunglasses to be here.
But it's wet. It's raining outside. What is she talking about?
But it's still lit. Pick up the sympathetic xylophone stuff, and we made a beat. And then we were trying to climb up this tube that was soaking wet. Slippery. We was falling. Desire.
Kara, chill out. You can't go up there. They need some help.
Harmony failed.
You all right?
Yeah,
You fell?
failed.
Y'all two fell?
It's like,
Hey, look at that ship right there. Look at that crab.
Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to the HBCU Delaware Talk. And I just love you and I thank you and I appreciate you. And I appreciate this next group of guests that are on here. I don't even know how to introduce them, but these folk here, they're heavy weights in the community. And they do a great job in the community. And I just wanted to really talk about some things that not just plagues our community, but our country, our city, our state. I want to talk a little bit about Bethune-Cookman. I want to, what happened there. I want to talk a little about implicit bias. I have my paperwork on implicit bias. But I'll let you all introduce yourselves as you may. So, welcome to the show. And you also.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I'm Pastor Donald Morton, pastor of Tabernacle Baptist Church.
Thanks for having me. My name is Ajavan. I am the director for Every Man Counts and DAV Mediation Consultant.
Yes.
Ron Handy at Tabernacle Church in charge of outreach.
And very active community members. And again, I thank you. We're going through some things here. It's like we're in a crisis. And it seems like people that look like me have given up. And I'm not sure, I can't put my finger on it, but it's a conversation that we must have. As Joe Madison would say, what are you going to do about it? We talk a lot about trying to make things better, but we haven't really been making things better. we keep trying and we keep working on it. I think eventually things will change. What is happening? We want to first, well, let's talk about implicit bias. For those of you who don't know what implicit bias is, I will read. It's called What is Implicit Racial Bias? Implicit racial bias is a mental process that causes most of us to have negative attitudes about people or groups of people based only on their race. Okay? Typically, these people are not members of our own racial, ethnic background. Okay, they're in groups, although implicit bias can also be directed at people who look and think like we do. Many researchers believe that implicit bias is fueled by symbolic attitudes that we all develop over the course of our lives, starting at a very young age. I'm thinking that implicit bias has a lot to do with what's holding us. I'm thinking that we don't have conversations as we should. I thank you all because you do have real conversations. I think we have to have more conversations. I sometimes try to hold a conversation because we look at our jobs, you know, and we don't want to hurt other people, but we're not really being real to ourselves. So at your own way, just come in. Tell me, what are you thinking about this implicit bias? Let's have a conversation.
Donald, you go first.
Well, so I agree with the definition of implicit bias. I think when it becomes dangerous, though, is when implicit bias is exercised by a group of people that are in power, right? So when you codify bias, racism is codified bias. It is the ability to oppress another people group because you are in power. Many times I've asked the question during lecture times whether or not black folk can be racist. Black folk cannot be racist because we don't have power.
True.
Right? Wow. So if I'm in a position of power and influence as a people, as a collective, then I can exercise that bias through racist acts. People ask me all the time whether or not I'm concerned with whether someone calls me a name or someone calls someone the N-word or whatever the case may be. That is not as problematic as it is to have that word exercised through oppressing a people group, whether that's African American people, Latino people, anyone who is the minority. That is when implicit bias is most dangerous and is exercised by the dominant culture.
Wow.
And I concur with what Donald said, because when he said that we are the minority, we are not the majority. So he's right when he said that African American or people of color cannot exercise implicit bias. I have a conversation all the time with some of the guys that come through my facilities, and we talk about you know, racism a lot, especially since the last election and what's been going on, and you know, and how they feel that it's unfair to them because of their color of their skin. They're not being treated fair. And I always tell them, you have to understand, we are the minority group here. We're not the majority. It may look like we're the majority, but we're not. What I mean by that is in power, like Donald stated, in power. A lot of our fathers come from reentry programs, coming out of the prison or local prison or federal prisons. So when you look at that, the population in the prisons, they're mostly African American and people of color. The people who are in control are non-African American people. So they're, in their mind, they're thinking because they're the majority in the prisons, so therefore they have the power, and they really don't. You know, and I take that back to where I'm from. And I had a conversation with a best friend of mine the other day. I said, you know, I never knew I was black until I came to this country. And I wasn't talking about the color of my skin, but the way I was felt. They made me feel. Coming from Africa, yes, we were the majority, but we didn't have racism. And what Donald said speaks so well, because African American or black people, they cannot display racism because we don't have that within us, okay? Because we're all one. It's always the dominating power who is of another color that has that power to dominate and to implore racism.
We can be bigoted, we can be biased. We just don't have collective power to oppress another people.
Yes.
Yep. You know,
We
like a
don't.
lot of times you see that when you go to meetings or you go to events and you look at the people who are in control.
Sure.
The
Yes.
event may be for us,
But
you know, even last year with Martin Luther King Day, great day, great event, but it wasn't our event.
Definitely.
It was somebody holding the event, allowing us to speak, you know, so
Wow.
it still showed us, okay, you're speaking and you have a voice, but guess what? We still control
The
everything.
power, definitely.
And they control the money.
Wow. I also was reading about the consequences of implicit racial bias in education. And I'm going to read this. And you just tell me what you think and how you feel about this. A teacher may say and explicitly believe that he or she has equal expectations for all students, while in fact implicit racial bias lowers expectations for students of color and stimulates subtle differences in the way the teacher behaves towards these students. Less praise and recognition and more discipline. For example, a 2001 study conducted 7 integrated schools in southern Louisiana shows that white students were treated more favorably than black students by their white female teachers. Okay, these subtle differences, often driven by implicit racial bias, can affect the student's self-esteem, motivation, and academic performance.
Would you read that last part again?
These subtle differences, often driven by implicit racial bias, can affect the student's self-esteem, motivation, and academic performance.
Yes, and I can speak on that as an adjunct professor at Wilmington University. The department I'm in have very few African American professors, and I am the first African American professor to teach the subjects that I'm teaching in New Jersey, because the program is offered in Wilmington, in Delaware, Newcastle, but I'm the first African American teacher to teach the program in New Jersey. I teach conflict management, introduction to conflict, mediation skills, and domestic violence. Teaching that class, when my African American students come into my classroom, when they see me, they automatically assume that they're going to be treated differently than their counterparts. And Caucasian students also feel that way, that they're going to be treated less favorable than African American students, because I'm an African American professor, and I've had that dialogue in my class before, and they've felt that way because other professors have done that, where it has, hinder their self-esteem or even academic growth, and I don't think that's fair. So again, we're going back to the same racial and bias. African Americans or people of color don't have that tendency in us to suppress. Okay, yes, we might focus more on an African American student, but everyone in that classroom will be subjected to a favorable teaching from that teacher, especially in my classroom. So definitely.
Wow.
So you remember you're an educator, and so is Aja. So you remember the time where they attempted to introduce tiered diplomas.
Yes.
Right? They had this sense that we needed to make sure that Raheem could be celebrated for mediocrity. And black educators were like, oh, no. Right? Because we understand as African American educators, if you set the bar high, we'll reach it every single time. Right? There's a low expectation oftentimes from the dominant culture toward African American students, because they don't understand how we learn, the circumstances under which we have to learn, and the data, the empirical data is clear that years ago what helped African American students learn was African Americans in front of the classroom that cared about them, right? So we get excited when we are impressive to our teachers, not for candy, not for an A. We will work for the teacher.
How about that?
Right?
Yes.
And so when the teacher seems interested in us and our advancement, then we have the tendency to do well. And that is the problem right now that I have with many schools, that in order to interact and engage African Americans in high school, one high school in particular, you got to go to discipline. Right? There's no African American teachers in front of the classroom, in order to engage an African American, you gotta get in trouble.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
that?
You know,
How
and-
about that?
And to touch on that, for maybe 5 years, I worked in the Brandywine School District as an interventionist.
Sure.
And one of the issues I had with a few teachers were I was supposed to be a disciplinarian. My job was to find out the issue in the classroom with that student and put things in place so they could be successful. So I had a teacher tell me one day, you know, these level 3s, they don't have the ability to learn. And I looked the teacher in her face, was like, no, change your methods of teaching. There are 7 different learning styles. Some say maybe 9.
Sure.
You can't teach one learning style in the classroom
That's right.
and expect everybody else to get it if
know
they
it,
don't.
yes.
If that's not who they are, that's not
true.
what their learning style is.
Right. And like I say, you know, the learning is. You just say that. The learning is the biological change
Yes.
in behavior. And I mean, I'm saying people learn one step at a time. We're not going to learn everything, but learning takes place when there's a change within the behavior.
Yes.
If we look out in the streets right now, kids dying.
Yes.
They shooting guns. And they haven't learned because they haven't learned how to read. You know, we learn to read between the grades, kindergarten and 3rd grade. Then we read to learn from 4th grade throughout the rest of our lives. Everything's information.
Right.
So if we don't have those skills as far as learning how to read, we're chasing it and we don't understand. We don't understand that those bullets, we know that they kill, but we don't understand the magnitude.
Or impact.
You know, a lot of these kids can't even infer because they don't know what an inference is.
Right.
Yes.
They can infer because they know that they've seen a park and they know it's at a park if they wasn't at the park.
Yes.
But they're not looking at the big picture with these guns, with killing. And I don't know where we should start. What do we do to stop it? Because you know that's where I really want to go. How do we stop this crime? And I know it's all in education. It has to be. But too many of our kids are dying right now.
It is education, but I want to caution us to think of education in terms of ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, right? It is the miseducation of the Negro. It is our inability to connect the dots between the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and culture.
Sure.
When we talk about learning differently, different learning styles, we also have to be taught something in which we're interested.
That's true.
Right? And when there is a very wide and deep chasm between what I know and what I'm interested in. You know, again, we don't see any African Americans in front of the classroom. We're not taught our culture. The history has been fabricated.
Sure.
So there are a number of things that we have to get a hold of. I want to caution us not to think that the answer is solely being able to add, subtract,
Sure.
and read. It is what we read.
How about
right?
that?
It is what we learn, and it is our ability to take what we learn, what we read, what we understand, and impact our communities in a way that helps to advance us as a collective. The other thing about America is very individualistic in nature, and so as long as I'm out for me and not for the collective, we'll always have this problem. When I understand that me killing, I think you just brought the point up, which is a magnificent point. If I kill a brother, I'm interrupting a whole family. It's not just that brother. I'm interrupting an entire family. But we don't think in communal terms. We think in individualistic terms, and I think we got to change that as well.
Definitely. I mean, it's something that, you know, we always scream like education. If we educate our youth more, they will learn not to be on the streets. They will learn not to engage in violence. But you have to understand, Steve, there's also another component to that. Lack of stability in the home, lack of stability in the community centers. You know, our youth now have nowhere to go. They're lost. You know, the community centers now are not offering programs that we grew up with. You know, you can't even see a child outside jumping double dutch. You know, they're too busy in the community, in homes, play on those video games, learning how to shoot, learning how to kill. I mean, people fail to realize that our kids, the generation now are all learned They're learning what to do from video games, from music, from their friends, bad friends, good friends, whatever. But we don't have that community togetherness anymore. When I first moved to Delaware 20 years ago, we had I used to see horses around with policemen on them. We don't have that anymore. And the kids would gravitate to the policeman. He would always come into the communities. I saw my first horse policeman in neighborhood Southbridge. That was the first time. Now you don't see that anymore. You see a policeman sitting there in a car, and the kids are right around him, either selling drugs, fighting, or killing each other. So we really need to start within the home first, and then we move out.
And then the other thing, I might get in trouble for saying this, but we've got to change the structure of education to include early childhood education as a part of this process, right? The days are gone where Medea can put a child in front of the TV and watch Love Boat, right? Because what you will tell me, I'm sure, as an educator, is that by the time they get to kindergarten, K through 3, they're already behind.
Oh, yes.
So you guys are trying to advance them, keep one set of students on pace, and bring them up, and it doesn't happen. So we have young black children that are either dropping out or they're graduating, but they're not graduating on point and on par with other graduates, right? So we've got, and I know that messes with grandma's money, right?
Sure.
But we've got to, if you're going to be an educator, let's start early childhood education and let a standard be there. Let's teach them how to read, let's teach them math, let's teach them culture, so that by the time they get to kindergarten as a part of the traditional system, they're on par with everybody.
Right. And I guess that's what I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say.
I guess that's what I was trying to really. I guess that's what I'm saying about the home, because I remember, growing up.
No, I didn't. I turned it off.
Growing up, you were taught at home. You didn't go to kindergarten like they do now.
Right.
Kids are in school, they have Head Start, they're there. Back in the day, we taught our children primary, our foundation. Their foundation was solid, because many of us didn't start in kindergarten. We started in first grade.
But
Okay.
now, Aja, the parents aren't learned.
No,
right?
they're
So
not.
they haven't graduated.
They haven't graduated.
Right? So
yes.
there's a lot that has to be done.
So much.
Right there, I have an argument with this guy like every other day. And he always talking about the home, and I said I understand that, but if you have a child that's struggling in a particular area, and you're sending them home to a undereducated parent or a parent that think that's normal, that kid is always going to come back with that issue.
Right. Always.
You were talking about centers and stuff. I run one. One of the issues that we have, and we had a big meeting about, we always decreasing the funds for these programs, and then you get upset when the kids are on the street with nothing to do, but you keep taking the money from us.
And that's what we were just talking about today. It's like the organizations that are out there, everybody wants to do their own. Everybody wants to do their own. If we had a collaborative effort and everybody comes together like they did before, we have William Hicks Center, we have the Boys and Girls Club. Let's try and navigate, and so that we can help our children.
But every center is not programmatically dense.
That's true.
Right? So you have centers now that you can. When I was growing up, I went to Walnut Street Y, right? Jack Booker and those guys were mentors of mine, right? You could not play ball until you did homework.
Yes.
There were programs you had to go through in order to play ball. Now, as long as it's the time slot,
you can play.
You can go play ball.
And that's not fair.
It's funny that I was in Atlanta last week, and they were the East Lake Project. I hope I'm not speaking too soon, but if I am, they go from the cradle through college.
Right.
Desegregation stopped the cradle through college. And I was down there in the East Lake Project. Well, they have like pre-K that are in school with the YMCA attached to the school, where you have the grandparents that come into the Y and work out, and they see these kids. These kids are growing up, they go to first grade. It's charter school down there. They have they have the supermarket, they have the charter school.
Really?
They have the Y, they have the entire community from the cradle
together.
In one.
to the through. I was like, it blew my mind, because we were talking about gentrification as opposed to revitalization. Well, we can look at it as gentrification, but they revitalized the East Lake Project, which was worse than Riverside.
Yeah.
Really?
And that's one of the plans I believe that's going to happen here. But if you take it and see what it's really doing, these kids are going to college. They're having their first graduation this year. Listen, they wear uniforms. I'm talking about pre-K.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
All the way through there, and they're in the same community. They see the same kids. So a lot of time we see the crime here. These kids that are shooting at each other, you know, they know each other that they're shooting at. We don't know
We
them.
don't know them.
Right.
See, because they're not. If they were from the cradle all the way through,
You would have known them.
they
all the
would
way
have known,
through.
and these
Yes.
things wouldn't be happening.
Yes. But
So
that's
it's
not
a,
the case.
you know, if they bring that project, if they do it, I believe, if there's not personal agendas involved,
Right.
you know, it'll work. I was amazed to see so many kids that look like us in class, and I'm saying that they're working. They're talking design. I'm talking about. They have the pre-K center, then which is attached to the Y. Then they have the elementary school, kindergarten, first, second, and third, fourth, fifth, and they're in the school. They're wearing uniforms, and they have STEM programs, STEAM program. I'm looking at those black kids learning, and
what's the difference? What are they doing differently other than what you're saying? You're talking about them
That
having
is what they're
uniform.
doing different.
they're going
Are
from
they
the cradle.
involving the
Right.
parents? Are they involving
Yes,
the community?
it's the whole entire
It's the
community.
whole, it's the village concept.
Yes, and I'm saying that if I go to school with you, back in the day we knew each other anyway.
you
Man, I
had
know
no
your name
choice.
because we were there from the cradle.
Yes.
They have the Y, we had the boys clubs. But I knew you in kindergarten. I went to Lord. Some of you all didn't go to Lord, but went to Mary C.I. Williams. So we knew each other. That's why we didn't have the crime.
No.
These kids now, they don't
They don't
know.
know. They don't know.
Kids that are being killed, I don't know any of them, but kids at my school know them.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about it?
And I think we also, I think we got to change the narrative, right?
Sure.
That is to suggest
Sure.
that I look at every young man, no matter what he has done, separate and apart from his action.
Right.
That he is inherently human. He is an inherently good person. Something happened.
Something happened.
Right? And I've often said that there's a story behind every pull trigger. Nobody wakes up just one day and says, you know what,
Right.
I'm going to pop somebody.
That's true.
That's not what's happening by and large.
Yes.
What's happening is that black folk are involved in this petri dish, right? This perfect stormed environment that is created by people that ain't us, right? And we are acting out
Yes.
what we have been, what the design of the environment. We're acting that out, and we've got to interrupt that process. I think one of the things that we have to do, Tabernacle owns a couple of billboards, and I'm going to put black families because we have to have a different image of what success is, and we've got to see success in terms that we create.
Sure.
You on a billboard, me on a billboard, Aja on a billboard. This is success. Chocolate success exists, right? It's not just members of the dominant culture, and I, I have several white friends.
So do I.
This isn't me.
Yeah,
this is me being proud of who I am, the
Yes,
skin I'm in.
definitely.
Aja and I went to Africa together. We went to Ghana together. And when I tell you, I don't know, where was the square we went? The shopping place. Everybody next to each other sell the exact same thing.
Oh, Makola Market.
And everybody is promoting each
other. Yes.
Steve, when I tell you it's a table,
Yes.
you selling the same thing I'm selling, same thing. It's just, go support her. It's okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
That's economic development right there.
Yes.
Economic
definitely,
development.
definitely.
Nobody is interested,
Nobody's
in
interested in
themselves.
themselves,
They're
yes.
interested in the collective.
And that's why you all are on the show for real, because each one of y'all do something different. But I want to, that's what I want to see that instead of our little silos,
Absolutely.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
we need to be
how we can,
one.
Right.
I'm doing something, and I appreciate you, and I still recall, a little office space over there at the church with
yes,
HBCU.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that's still happening. But I want us to be able to, like the churches, the men, the boys clubs, where we could just do something as one.
It would be so wonderful. You know, like I do, Donald had this young gentleman,
He's not young, Audrey.
invite me to the fathers, the fathers meeting, so I can briefly speak to them about their rights and responsibilities. And I talk about this, and I said we all need to be one. Everybody's doing a little bit of everything. Why can't we just have an umbrella and help everybody? My uniqueness with my fatherhood program is all about rights and responsibilities in family court. And how do you get out of prison? When you get out of prison, how do you get over that hump so that you can be sustainable and be able to take care of your children and bond? Okay, so that's my piece. But how can we all come together? You know, this person who's doing this, that person who's doing this, work with the churches, work with this, work with us. Someone said, well, why don't you take credit for this? I said, it's not about me. It's about the fathers and their children.
You know, that's interesting. Even like August quarterly's coming up, and I always tell them at the meetings, well, we got to reach out to every church.
Every church.
You know, and I understand Peter Spencer. I mean, I get it. But it's this kingdom. But we got to build a kingdom.
Yes.
You know, and whatever the domination doesn't matter. We have to really get this thing where we can do it together.
Yes.
But let me push back a little bit, right? So we experienced that in Africa. Ron has been more places than both Aj and I put together, right? But let's also appreciate history.
Sure.
Right? That king was not celebrated till he died.
Right.
Right? That there was not a lot of togetherness. It looked like it, but there was a pastor in a place that changed the address of his street just so that it would not be named Martin Luther King Boulevard. So there's always been infighting, always, right? I think so. We need to continue to push for that, but we need to be realistic as well, and recognize that there's some. Aja just said it wonderfully. I can't beat how she said it. She's got her part. I don't do what she does, right? But I know how to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Aj, this is what we're doing. I need you over here at such and such time." I don't do what you do. I have a heart for it, but that's what you do. I have no problem picking up the phone. Hey, Steve, this is what I need done, right? Sure. Ron runs outreach. He knows everybody. So I just say, hey, Ron, this is what I want to do. He's okay, Doc. We get it done. My part in this process is before I die, I will see the restoration of the integrity of the black church.
Yes.
That is my whole mission on earth. I want to see the black church the way that we know the black church is supposed to be. That it is not just a place of worship, it is a place of social activism. Right? And so that's my part. When people call me, they call me to talk about racism. That's my part. That's not what Aja does. Aja talks about fathers, right? So we can promote one another. That is the collective, I think, that we get. Instead of everybody trying to do what everybody else does, and we need to celebrate that because there are people who say you ain't boots on the ground, you ain't about it. Well, that's not my part.
Exactly.
But I know how to sit in the boardroom and talk to the governor.
Definitely.
There you go.
Right? That's my
Exactly.
part. So McKee Booker is the guy.
Yes.
He's boots on the ground. Keandra McDowell, she's boots on the ground, right? So when all of us do our part, we can see some significant change.
So we should have a do our part day.
Do our part day.
Wow.
See? At Tabernacle.
There you go. How about it? I mean, because
I like that.
It's real. I'm working on right now the HBCU Day at Rodney Square.
Let's do that.
Historically Rodney Square.
Yes.
Historically Black Colleges and Universities. If we can do it, hopscotch, double dutch, marbles. Couple steps, couple fraternities. But I hope it comes to pass.
It will. Just keep
this summer.
pushing it. Keep pushing it.
This summer. I appreciate you all.
You want us to sing a song or anything?
No.
No.
No. Can you sing?
Oh, of course I can sing.
Yo, Steve.
Me.
I really enjoy you all. We have to continue this movement.
Absolutely.
Yes,
We have to continue to communicate. We have to let's reach out. Let's touch bases often.
That's right.
Not sometimes like this is what I have in mind. Can we come over and talk to you about it? I mean, because it's no sense of us even trying to help. We all doing the same thing
Right.
for the community. So we have to really do this, and let's come together, let's make some things happen.
And we gotta love this city.
We gotta
Right.
love this
We gotta
city.
love this
Can I-
city, love this city.
Can I throw something in?
Yeah,
real
you got
quick?
2 minutes.
Okay, I got 2 minutes.
No, you have 15 seconds.
Oh,
we,
okay.
we only have 2 minutes.
This is Daddy Does My Hair. We're doing an event on June 10th. Every Man Counts. We're teaching fathers how to do their daughter's hair. I don't know where I'm supposed to send it.
Really?
We're teaching fathers how to do their daughter's hair. It's a pampering session. Daughters are going to get pampered, so will dads. They're going to leave out of there with really nice gifts.
Practicing on
And
mine.
yeah, and dads are going to do their daughter's hair at the end of the workshop. So this is a bonding event. Please, it is free. We are asking for $5 donations if you can. If not, don't worry about it. The event is totally free for fathers and their daughters. It's going to be at Stubbs Elementary on June 10th from 11:30 to 2:30 p.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great.
Bring my child.
That's
Yes,
great.
bring your daughter.
Yes.
We had our last event at Stubbs. We had 132 participants for our daddy and daughter tea
Are
party.
they gonna learn perms and?
No,
We don't do
no,
natural
no.
hair.
They're doing.
Not natural hair.
They're gonna do how to do
I
fish
have about
braids.
15 seconds. I really, truly, I promise you, I appreciate you, and I will be in touch. You're part of the housing authority, so we could do some things with housing.
Oh yes,
Yes, sir.
definitely.
Okay, so we definitely want to we want to incorporate that.
Yes, sir.
We're going to utilize each other.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We want to talk about Section 8. We want to see what we could do to grow.
Yeah, especially for my
I
fathers
thank
coming
you
out
all
of
for
jail.
being here.
Yes.
Thank you, Wilmington, for allowing us to be here.
Yes.
God bless you. God keep you. It's my prayer.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.